Welcome back, everybody. It is a lovely Monday morning at 8:25. A little bit of a long weekend again because we were traveling to Ohio State. So I had 3 days off. So we're ready to get back into it. We actually have a home meet this Saturday, so I think I'll be able to actually work out 4 days this week, not 3. So that'll be nice. Hopefully I'll be able to get in a little bit more productive training, one might say. Nothing too special about today. We're gonna see where the wind takes us. Starting with the normal stuff. Let's get started on the P-Boss swings.
Don't little bitches stay off the ground. Don't be the first to get hit with that Draco. Don't be playing. She holla at the lick out. Cold water doing up in Harlem. They like the mud on my home. I swear the Rick on his own. So rich that she got a roll star. Skinny to steaks. I guess we both go in them all. I'm taking my mop on my dates, okay? Just look at the look on their face. But I'm taking her friends out of 10, okay? And I'm 10, okay? One on the down. They'll tell her one out of spin, okay? Soon as I man my phone and when he barely plain Jane protect the lead. I with my lady we can't eat. My family on a date make it rain for one. But the change gon' come. Soon as I say favorite gun, I'm rocking, I'm swerving, I'm popping. The church, I bless, I surge, Birdman, double cup, lean head. I keep it rolling like I don't believe it. Oh, writing on me like I did the math and they knew they call it go to it. So this is the secret. So this is the secret. When I put out for
Oh, these really never get easier. Holy. It's windy in Greenville, okay? Okay, I didn't really feel like doing tumble track to warm up the legs today. I don't know why, because it's a lot lower impact than what I'm about to do, but didn't feel like doing it. So I'm gonna do springboard sticks instead, just to get the legs warmed up. And then I'm just gonna be doing rod floor today, no real floor. I'll save that for tomorrow. The main focus when I'm doing these sticks is obviously not taking steps, but also working on the full prep before I land and having my arms like fully up so it looks like I'm in control the entire time. There are some times where I'll land and the arms will drop, or I'll have to like arm circle just to kind of save it, which is fine. But I always want to be striving to have like full preparation for landing before I actually hit the ground. So that way I can actually adjust if I need to when I do land. Warm up. All right, I'm gonna get started on rod floor. The goal for today is to get through 2 routines on rod floor, kind of like I used to a month, 2 months ago at this point. The reason I haven't been doing them is A, to give my knees a break because they kind of flared up right before Christmas break. Then 2, I had that nasty cough that it made me feel that doing anything endurance related was just gonna like make me pass out or stop being able to breathe. Finally feel better now, especially when there's not a lot of people in here with all the chalk going up in the air. So we'll try and get back into it and see how it goes. Probably gonna be coughing and wheezing at the end, but that's part of doing endurance stuff, so. Wake up. Whoa. Gotta warm up a full in and then I'll be ready. Whoa. I'm gonna do one more of those. That was pretty whippy. Take a little break, catch my breath, wait a couple minutes, and then go for my first routine. Rod floor routine, number 1. See, woo! See, this is what it's supposed to be like. Just nice deep breaths without coughing up a lung. It's about what I expected for the first one. Full double front actually felt good. Full in, little whippy, but I felt like I got the chest up. Lay double full, I wanted to make sure I didn't really like dig in there and buckle in my hips. So I intentionally made the first layout a little bit higher, which is why the double full was a little whippy. Press, we're just not gonna talk about. Not even gonna blame it on the rod floor being like squishier. I just rushed through it and wasn't really thinking, so that's on me. Back double full felt very weird. I think I just whipped really hard, kind of like overcompensating. And then the back 2.5 and then both triples. My legs just felt kind of jello-ish, but especially on rod floor, even if it's very early on and trying to build up endurance, it's not gonna kill me to do an extra one. And I think after the second routine, assuming I can still like walk and my legs aren't giving out, I'll probably try and do a couple extra. Rest up probably about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll do another one. The goal is that the press on the second one isn't shit. Everything else I'm okay with right now. Number 2. That one was significantly harder than the first. Probably should have waited a little bit longer in between doing those. As soon as I landed that first pass, instant regret. The nice thing is, even finishing 2 of those routines with the extra triples, it's actually not so much my legs that are really tired, but like my chest and my breathing, I guess, so my cardiovascular endurance. Usually at this point when I first start doing any kind of long sequences or base sets or routines on rod, every single time I'm trying to get into routine shape, my legs are just absolutely shot, along with my chest as well. But right now, I feel it like 75% all up in here, and then my legs is only like a quarter, obviously. Because I know I'm gonna be doing more floor tomorrow, mainly real floor, I'm only gonna spend a little bit more time on lay punch double full because those felt kind of funky all day. As you saw in the second routine, I kind of balked and just did a Rudy because the first layout was so high. I punched like a little bit earlier and like almost hyperextended as I jumped. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then the second one, I dumped into it to make sure I didn't do that again. But then I brought my arms down and kind of just dumped it forward. So I'm gonna focus on those a little bit by themselves, just get a couple good numbers and then we'll move on. Layout felt really nice, but when I snapped, I didn't drive my heels as much, so I kind of had to land back here before I snapped forwards. I'm trying to make myself work harder on the layout and the punch for the double, so that once the punch is done and I start wrapping into the twist, it feels just like trampoline. I don't want to have to punch and have this kind of like oh shit moment where I have to really drive my heels and snap forwards just to try and land it, because then chances are I'm not going to be able to stick it, or if I do, I got lucky. I was better heels, but I didn't snap into it as much. Still falling into the stick. Whoa. All right, that was the one that I was looking for. I just haven't been doing them like that all day, so I got used to pulling forwards a little too much. So subconsciously I did that even though that was a good punch, and that's why I took the step forward. Call it there for today. Save my legs for tomorrow. Let's go to P-bars and get into the support stuff. Goal for P-bars today, I'm gonna start with the half DOM drills just to make sure I get a couple good warm-up turns in before I do real DOMs. I'm gonna try and get through 10 nice DOMs that I feel good about, assuming they go to plan. Then I'll move into stutzes and continue that change in technique, let's say. Even though I've been feeling better about the change in technique, especially when it goes well, because I have to wait so long before I start to push, if I feel like stiff or tight in this range, it makes doing the proper technique a lot harder for me right now. Not bad for the first ones. Trying to be too perfect on that second one, I cut it off. The second one was obviously better than the first. Seems like no matter what I do though, I just feel very closed off or kind of shrugged in the handstand. And I'm trying to correct it, but that's probably just from the 3 days off on the weekend and part of just getting back into it, I guess. There we go, baby. I was thinking about going for 3 in a row, like full ones, but as I went down, I felt myself kind of planish forward and didn't want to worry about rocking back and kind of buckling, but first 2 felt really good. Same thing as last time, I'm gonna start on the end just from swing, focusing on waiting as long as I can to push off that right arm and then riding it up on my post arm a little longer before I push off, instead of doing like a hop half and trying to use momentum to get to handstand. That one felt a little better. Not nearly as much as the Dion, but I actually felt myself swing up and feel like a push back with the right arm, whereas usually it's just like a kick early and push sideways to get the turn going. Last one was definitely the right idea. I caught a little soft though, because as I was letting go with the left arm, I just kind of picked my hand up to reach for the bars instead of giving one final push to get a lift and square up and catch tight and all that stuff. Nope, bent my legs on that one. Fuck. Okay, very clearly got scared on the last one because the one 2 turns ago was on the right track. Apparently that means I have to take a step backwards for some reason. Just gotta continue to scare myself, waiting as long as I can and giving a big push away. You know, because I'm supposed to go to handstand, I have to wait until I'm up there. It's getting there. I feel like I'm psyching myself out too much. I feel like it's a smoother swing and I'm not bending my legs as much, but the hop is always happening like right around 45. The hard part or the tricky part is, I feel like the reason I'm holding back to really swing and try and go to handstand is if I really swing and go up that way and I don't finish the pushback with either my non-post arm or my post arm, I'm just gonna swing, go up and over and like kind of fall through the bars. So I'm just trying to make minor changes each time. Same as the beginning of the DOM changes, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or whatever. Feels very, very uncomfortable, but today is already better than the last day. So I would not be surprised if I pick this up a little bit faster than the DOMs just because I'm already kind of used to swinging up and waiting to start everything. Spend like 5 more minutes tops and then I'll go to high bar. I felt a little stronger. All right, I'm putting the last couple from this angle because even though they have been getting better and I've been catching stronger at a higher angle, I can feel my toes catching a little bit off to this side. In order to correct that, once I'm pushing off of my left arm, I can't just like pick it up. I have to actually push the bar away that way in order to kind of cancel out kicking my toes over to the left. Or at least that's how I like to think about it. Still obviously caught a little bit off to that side and it was a little bit kind of sluggish in my shoulders and my midsection, but I wasn't expecting to go that high, and I think it was because I was able to wait just a smidge longer to push off. I'm gonna call that a win today. Kind of quit while I'm ahead. I definitely could keep going, but I want to make sure I can get through high bar and pommel and not just burn myself out trying to figure it out all in one day.
You're so, dude, talk about it.
Okay, bud. Okay.
I just sent him a picture of...
Is you?
I can do...
It's the cold up. Don't blow kick the shit we told us. Switch out the baby, niggas get rolled up.
What the hell? Holy shit. Took way longer than expected, but this bar is just very different to the pit bar. And now I think I know what I need to do compared to the pit bar, because this bar does launch me more. It was just launching me in the wrong direction. It just means I have to react that much quicker on the way up, otherwise it will launch me that way. Pommel horse. Okay, finally on my way home. I got a little sidetracked towards the end of my practice just because the guys had started training and I had to focus on them a little bit more, so I wasn't able to focus on my stuff as much, but part of the job. Pommel was definitely subpar today. All I was trying to do was get through 3 last halves as quick as I could so I could finish up and start coaching, but my warm-up was kind of bad. I wasn't as focused on myself. Whenever I was doing dismounts, I was a little bit hesitant because of my shoulder. I think doing the extra handful of Takachevs on high bar kind of pissed off my shoulder a little bit. I figured it was best to not push it there and just kind of see how it feels tomorrow. But other than Pommel, I thought today was a pretty productive day. I'm going to try my best to vlog every day this week. It's going to be a lot of editing for me, but I'm going to try and minimize the amount of talking I do so it's not as much work for me afterwards. Word of the day, let's go adjustment, because I had to make quite a few adjustments on high bar in order to just catch the Tkachev. But that's it for this lovely Monday. If you enjoyed it, please like, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I will catch y'all tomorrow morning bright and early.